I could never walk away from the September 11th attacks once I realized that it was my own government that perpetrated them for their own cynical reasons. I was gripped by a lifelong moral imperative. Now, there are people who can walk away from this and do, but it speaks volumes about their character, their priority, and their true nature so that they can um, walk away from the carnage and everything that it means. Um, and the sheer ease with which they dismiss the implications and the consequences of what happened that day. For a lot of years, I spent time collecting evidence and making reports based on all the evidence. But as time passed, I realized that the evidence for official orchestration of the September 11th attacks is so overwhelming that at this point, it's useless just going over the evidence again and again. We have to deal with what it means on a social, a psychological, and cultural plane. Um, and it breaks my heart. And even those who, for whatever reasons, still believe that this was an external attack by Muslim hijackers, the inability to put them in the shoes of somebody like me and to understand the heartbreak and the ostracization that I've gone through and other people in the 9/11 truth movement have gone through shows that they're not, it's a kind of mental aphasia that we're dealing with. And it's wrapped up deeply in myths and religious fundamentalism that defines something about the core of the American psyche. And after all, to believe in the official 9/11 account is to believe in miracles, because you're talking about something that's physically and scientifically impossible. And it's still amazing to me how many people don't know that there was a third skyscraper that collapsed that day. Now, there is a fascinating new area of research into 9/11. And this is the research of Pierce Robinson, who has done a lot of work with flight simulators, showing the improbability of having flown those flight trajectories without automation. In fact, in the beginning years of the 9/11 truth movement, the debate around whether these were planes or these were drones or whether the planes were taken over by automation seemed like a footnote and something that's not really important. But as time progressed, the case for automation, the case that these weren't passenger jets that hit the towers, become much, much stronger. And I saw Pierce Robinson give his presentation last year at the Turning the Tide conference, watched it online, as well as some other presentations he's given, which shows that the official story about hijackers flying these planes is impossible because even experienced pilots could not duplicate these flight patterns inside the flight simulator, much less the inexperience that we're told these hijackers had. So it's time for America to wake up and smell the coffee. It's fascism, folks.